Hey guys, today I want to show you how you can use the drop seeder from Paper Pot Co. to plant microgreens. This video is brought to you by paperpot.co. It's the official sponsor and it's a company that I co-own with my good friend Diego Footer. We brought you the Paper Pot transplanter. Now we're selling products from Jang, Meadow Creature, and we got a bunch more exciting stuff coming along. So if you want a way to support me on my channel, buy stuff from Paper Pot Co. Anything you do there is directly supporting my work here on YouTube. So a lot of people ask me, can we use the drop seeder to plant microgreens? Because it more or less does what microgreen planting would do, is to distribute seed evenly amongst flats. Now I'm going to show you how to do this today, but first I want to just start with sort of a disclaimer about this. I don't think this is the perfect system for planting microgreens, though it can make it quick, but it's got some flaws. One being, if you get a lot of static in your greenhouse, you might have problems with seeds sticking to the plastic. But you know, you can increase the humidity in your greenhouse to sort of eliminate that to some degree. And another criticism it has is that if seeds get stuck between the plates, it can create problems. So really small seed like arugula and amaranth, in my opinion, don't work that great. Though they can, and it really comes down to your preference. But I'm gonna show you guys how to do it anyways in this video, because there are some friends of mine that are using this for microgreens consistently, and they're doing quite well with it. Down at Rose Creek Farm, Ray and Ashley are using this to do all their dry seed microgreens, and they're doing it very fast. So basically gonna show you in this video how to use it and how you can use it on two different types of flats. So to use the drop seeder for microgreens on the 1122 flat, which is the standard flat we use for the Paper Pot system, it's fairly straight ahead. The drop seeder fits right over top of the flat, no problem, and you're pretty much just dropping seed on here like you would when you're doing stuff for the Paper Pot transplanter. Now, there are two plates in particular you're gonna need if you want to do microgreens with this successfully. You're going to need the 8 mil plate, which is the largest one we sell, and you're going to need the 6 mil plate, which is a fairly common one. And if you want to do a crop like basil, you'll probably need the 4.5 millimeter seed. There's a chart that I've got linked below in the show notes here that's going to take you to paperpot.co, where we've done sort of a case study that shows all the densities of the crops I've done with this, and the amount of seed it drops per flat. And it basically gives you some metrics that you can use as a benchmark. One thing that's important to point out with this is that this is not going to work with wet seed that you soak, like sunflower, pea shoots, wheatgrass, buckwheat, stuff like that. This isn't going to work for this. This is only going to work for dry seed microgreens like radish, broccoli, bok choy, kale, stuff like that. So let's start with just planting an 1122 flat with the drop seeder. I've got my 8 mil plate on the drop seeder here, and I'm gonna do a crop that's bok choy. So bok choy is one of these that you only need to do one drop on. So with this one in particular, it goes quite quick because you just have to do one pass of the seed, line it up, drop, and that flat is done. So now you've got a nice even distribution of seed on the flat. So there's no question that with that one particular variety, just doing one drop is faster. Now, when you're planting something like radish, which needs a lot more seed, like I'm using, I think it's around 60 grams or so of seed per flat, in order to get that with the 8 mil drop seeder, I've got to do 3 clicks. So with 3 clicks, it takes a bit more time, obviously. And there, it's debatable if whether that is faster than just sprinkling that seed by hand. From what I've seen by doing this, if you're doing 1 or 2 clicks, it's definitely faster than sprinkling seed by hand. Once you're getting into 3 clicks, it's debatable of whether it's faster or not. But we can see from just doing something like bok choy, seeds like this size, it's definitely faster than planting it by hand. Now the next thing I want to show you is how you can simply modify the drop seeder to use it on a standard 1020 flat. So if you're going to use this for a 1020, all you got to do is tape up 2 sets of holes on the outside, and if you're good, you can get it with 1 piece of masking tape. This is just, I believe, 3/4 inch masking tape, painter's tape essentially, so I can just go over here, tape up those 2 rows. You just want to make sure that you don't have a piece of tape sticking too far on the outside that is going to jam up the cedar when it moves. So there we go. So we've taped up 2 sets of holes. Now you'll see that the drop cedar holes will line up pretty much exactly with the 1020, and it's going to go right to the edge. So I mean, you could tape up 3 holes maybe if you wanted to get it perfectly in, but for this works just fine. And I did a bunch of trials with 1020s with this, and it works just fine. You just got to line up your holes on the bottom plate and then drop, and you're done. So that's essentially all there is to it. Again, it's not the perfect system for microgreens, but I do know some growers that use it a lot and they swear by it. I have had problems with static here and there. Like I said earlier, with the really small seed, I've had problems with it jamming up. So that's why I just want to tell people, it's not a perfect system, but if you're doing a lot of dry seed micros that are seeds the size of like a kale seed up to a radish seed, it's actually pretty good and it will save you some time. Now, if you're an operation that's doing thousands of flats a week, I would say you're probably going to get into some sort of industrial type system. It's probably not going to be something like this. But if you're doing up to 100 flats a week, this is probably going to work well for you. But just remember, it doesn't work for sunflower, pea, wheatgrass, or buckwheat, or any of those types of seeds that you soak. This only works for dry seed. So hope you guys have found that helpful. If you want to buy microgreen flats, like both the types that I've displayed here, paperpot.co has both of them. We have, of course, the paperpot flat, the 1122, but we also are now selling the 1-inch deep standard 1020 microgreen flats. We have ones with holes and ones without. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later.